Hi, I'm Sonia Doubell, and we are here with Serena Laurence. Hi, Serena.
Hi.
Serena is the co-founder of the Hoffman Institute in the United Kingdom, and the Hoffman process is the process that you go and experience when you go into an 8-day retreat. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So this process has actually changed over 70,000 people's lives. So we're going to speak to Serena about what actually goes on 3 years ago. But from your point of view, what actually happens when you do the process?
I think the first point is where is somebody when they first think about doing the process. So the process is something that you do once in your life as a rite of passage. Whether you're 23 or 86, there's a moment where people get to that point where you are repeating the same behaviour patterns, the mistakes. We've all been aware of that thing where you wake up and go, oh my God, why did I do that? Or, you know, the phrase that people have of, oh, looks like I'm turning into my mother, and things like that. You know, and you think, wouldn't it be wonderful to actually take a moment in time to stop, pause, reflect, look back, and actually say, who am I, where am I in my life, where would I like to be in my life, and how did I get here, and what do I need to resource myself to go forward. It's shown that the people who get the most out of it are the people who are motivated. They can see something that they'd like at the end of the tunnel. And they come into the 8 days really to have a good look initially at their emotional autobiography.
Yeah.
So as a child, what were they like?
Yeah.
You know, where did you grow up? Who were the main influences around you? Who were your primary carers? What was the atmosphere like in your home? What were the main characteristics of people around you that maybe, without meaning to, you've kind of adopted, a bit like kind of acid rain falling into you, that you moulded your environment to, you moulded yourself to your environment.
Yeah.
And so you have taken on characteristics that suddenly later you may wake up one morning and go, why do I do this? And there are clues. So what we do in the Hoffman process is we start looking at the clues.
Yeah.
What was your mother like? What was your father like? What was your childhood like? You know, what is working for you? And you've got to remember there is a positive. But actually what is also not working for you. So,
which is the key, right? That's what we want to look at, what's not working for you. Because obviously you've got to a certain point in your life and there are things that are working for you. And those things that aren't serving you is where the Hoffman sort of untangles the knots to help you. And I love that when you're fed up with being fed up, and it really is the motto of the process, because it takes, we all recognize these patterns, and I know I did, but it takes you to just go, you know what, enough. To go, where is that with the Hoffman process? And for me, it was, you know, I went in, it was 8 days, I wasn't, you know, I'd never done anything like that before. You leave the world behind. And the difference between the process and between therapy is that therapy is maybe 1 hour once a week, and by the time the next week rolls on, you kind of lost the emotional, you know, intensity of that kind of, you know, digging. But with the Hoffman, there is no loss, and it feels like you are going through all these different exercises that peel away the layers and just keep peeling. So it is amazing. What sort of things do you feel most people want to achieve when they come there?
A lot of people are coming with relationship issues, and what they think is that it's an external relationship issue. I'm having problems with my personal relationship, my relationship with my family, my children. Actually what we're dealing with primarily is looking at the relationship with themselves. So first of all we have to start there, and that's where the, you know, the early kind of awareness raising, the pattern tracing, how in your environment with body work, you know, people are sitting on all this emotional baggage, and it's coming out, you know, the sore neck, you know, the irritable bowel syndrome, the eczema, the asthma, it's all these repressed emotions, and this is where your work is absolutely kind of aligned with where we are. So whether it's a body awareness thing, or whether it's just that someone has slammed a door in your face and gone, you're not pleasant any longer, you get that wake-up call, and then you say, okay, I've got to look at it, I've got to look at my emotional, you know, my spiritual side, the intellect, the chatter that's preventing me from moving on, and the dear body that is carrying us through all of this.
Absolutely.
And say, what do I need to release?
Yeah, a quadrinity, that it's like a check-in, and it's how do I feel physically, how do I feel emotionally, and how do I feel mentally, what's the chatter going on, and how do I feel spiritually. And that is, physically your body needs to be alive and well, you know, mentally. Can you achieve that level of just stillness and clarity even when there's a storm going on? You know, can you still do that? Can you hold the space for that? So that is it's a training, and it's an understanding of who you are. And emotionally, can you recognize when you are about to go off a cliff, you know, and just not go with it, and just be still? Can you feel love? Can you be loving? Because there's a block, you know. So when you go through something like the Hoffman process, I think it unlocks, you know, it unlocks love, it unlocks compassion, it unlocks things in your life that you might have blocked physically and emotionally from some experience in your life, childhood. And none of these things are wrong. They're not. They're just a process that you get to take a looking glass into and change. So that you have a really, you know, you have an opportunity to live a life that is so rich in experience and so deep and fulfilling. But you need to do the work.
That's exactly it. And so the 8 days, you know, some people will refer to it as an emotional boot camp. You know, in this environment, when you say to people 8 days from work and hand in your mobile, there's already, you know, that sense of, oh, I'm not sure I can do that. We strongly recommend that the weekend following is just a period of calm, not to rush into a big event or family event, just to be aware that, you know, you have gone through a lot. There's a lot of baggage that has been dropped and physically left behind. It's like that sense of, oh, you know, I've left that behind. But also you're walking forward in new shoes. You know, the world has not changed, but you have. And therefore, you're hyper-vigilant to everything around you. You know, a sunset, you know, has got music behind it. Seeing your child on the floor and rolling around with them becomes the most passionate thing you've ever city that you actually just want to keep at bay. So the recommendation is 3 days. We have known people, of course, who've taken a whole week, you know, off from work and everything. The more you can integrate, the more you can just breathe in that goodness and let out that badness, then the more that's going to really have an organic shift.
Yes, and very often people are feeling things for the first time ever, you know, from blocks being released. And suddenly you're waking up to this, wow. People, you know, I know for me that when I came out, I felt such an enormous sense of like love towards not just my partner, but towards everything. It was like a real sense of gratitude and appreciation for this opportunity to be alive. So
you know, it's like, of course then, why not go and do this work? You know, it's like these sort of, you don't have to be kind of messed up to do good work. You know, the healing work really should be a case of self-responsibility and self-enrichment, in that sense of, it's my responsibility as a human being treading my path to bring relationships that are healthy and nurturing, and to do that I need to know who I am, so I am really present and really loving, and that the heart is open and receptive and not in reaction. So to do that, you have to go on a bit of a training course.
Absolutely.
And this is where we come in. Absolutely. So it's just it's such beautiful work when you're involved in it, and it's so often so frightening.
Totally. And for me, it's like you know, we're physically mature, we're mentally mature, but we're emotional children in adult bodies, and that is so true. And this process just brings us emotionally up to speed, so we really get to know what is going on, and that is, you know, along with healing your body from whatever form you do, you know, from yoga to Pilates to anything you want to do. So healing your body, healing your mind, healing your heart, and just reconnecting with your spirit self is I think, the essence of living a really fulfilled and rich life.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. So for the UK, it's www.thehoffmaninstitute.co.uk, and for the US.org. Thank you very much, and I highly recommend that you all take the journey.